Hey guys, it's Mr. Zamora again with some math during my spare time. And here's a problem with completing the square. So in our first line we have the function f of x equals 5x squared plus 20x minus 60. We want to put this standard form into vertex form. So you can see in my second step that in order to do this, we need to factor out this a value. All right, we factor out the a value of 5. However, we only factor out from the ax squared and bx terms. All right, we're going to go ahead and move the negative 60 over to the right side, all right, and not include it in our factored version. If we did factor out a 5 from that negative 60, we'd have negative 12, and it would still not be a perfect square. So we're going to make room for completing the square. Now, one thing that I invite you to check is that every single one of my steps is equivalent. So I could put step 1 and step 2 into two different cells of Desmos, and they will graph the same function. That's something that you want to check. All right, in my third step, you can see that I finally completed the square. The number 4 is the value that completes the square for 4x. All right, the reason it completes the square is because in order to complete a square, you take your b value, which is 4, and you divide it by 2, which gives me 2. Then you square it, which gives me 4 again. All right. You also notice that I subtracted 20 on the right side. The reason I subtracted 20 is because I've now unbalanced this function. So I did not simply add 4. If you notice, there's a factor of 5 on the outside. So what I really did is I added 20. Therefore, I must subtract 20 in order to keep this an equivalent function. You could also graph step 3 in Desmos to see that it is an equivalent function. For my last step, I'm going to factor x squared plus 4x plus 4, which factors into x plus 2 times x plus 2, which is x plus 2 squared. Last, negative 60 minus 20 gives me negative 80. So my final vertex form is f of x equals 5 times x plus 2 squared minus 80, giving me a vertex at negative 2, comma, negative 80. And that is how you go from standard form to vertex form.